Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video we're going to be continuing what we started last week on this channel with the Microsoft Windows Longhorn Upgrade Saga. Now if you haven't seen that last video, I'd recommend you go and check it out. It'll be up in the cards right now, as essentially what we did in that video is we upgraded through a few of the pre-reset Windows Longhorn builds. And a lot of you guys said, I kind of mentioned in that video that I might be doing the same thing with the post-reset Longhorn builds, and a lot of you guys said you would like to see that. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. So what I've got here on the desk today is the same Dell Latitude D610 that we installed all the pre-reset builds on. It is still running build 4042, as you can see up there at the very top. And what we're going to be trying to do first is actually upgrade from 4042 right to one of the post-reset builds. I highly doubt this is going to work because the post-reset builds are based on an entirely different code base. They're obviously based on the Server 2003 code base. So yeah, I highly doubt this is going to work, but we're going to try it anyway because in theory it's a new build number, but it has the same NT version, so Windows should recognize it as a version to be able to upgrade to, but we're going to see what happens. Now you might be asking yourself why I am booted into safe mode. Well, the reason for that is build 4042's activation timer ran out, and this is something that all of these Windows versions have. They're all based on Windows XP. Windows XP has the same activation timer where it basically gives you a brief trial period and then it forces you to activate the build. Now, even though we had put in a product key, it doesn't mean that the operating system was activated, but you can't even activate this because this is a beta build and the activation wizard is essentially broken. You can't go through it even if you wanted to. So I had to boot into safe mode, and we're going to actually see if we can launch the installer for the next build from here. But like I said, I'm pretty certain we're going to have to do a clean install of the next build. What is the build going to be? Well, we're going to try to upgrade first to build 5000. And build 5000 is actually known as an Omega 13 build. And if you saw the last video, that might sound like a departure from the naming scheme that we used throughout the entire video, because all the pre-reset builds pretty much follow a very consistent naming scheme. You had Milestone 3 to Milestone 4 to 5 to 6 to 7. Milestone 7 was the very last phase before the reset. And Omega 13 is essentially the phase in between Milestone 7, which is again the last phase of pre-reset, and pre-beta. So it's kind of this intermediary period where the development process has been completely reset, the builds look identical to Windows XP, and pre-beta is where you're going to start to see more of the visual changes, and we will get into a pre-beta build in this video as well. So we're going to start with build 5000. We're going to then move on to 5048, which is a pre-beta build. We're going to then move on to the official Vista beta release, which was 5112. We're going to then move to 5384.4, which is the official beta 2 release of Vista. And finally, we're going to end things off with 5600, which is the release candidate 1 release of Windows Vista. So we're not going to go to RTM in this video because, well, we're just going to try to go to RC1, and I have a feeling that from Beta 1 to 2 to RC1, that's going to be pretty straightforward because these were all officially released, and I'm certain that Microsoft had the ability to upgrade from Beta 1 to Beta 2 and then to RC1. But like I said, we're going to be starting with the Omega 13 build, and another kind of big giveaway that this is totally different than what we've been looking at is it actually fits on a CD. Now, you guys may not have noticed, but in the last video I was using both CDs and DVDs, and that's because some of the later, once you get into, especially Milestone 7, but you had, I think, the Milestone 6 and 5 builds that we took a look at, they would not fit on a CD because they were over 700 megabytes. But this build here, the ISO file comes in at, I believe, 400 or 500 megabytes. So it is way less than all these other builds that we've been taking a look at. So it's opened up actually right here automatically for us. And we're going to run the setup executable. You can see it even says welcome to Windows XP, but the file version you see is 6.0, NT version 6.0, build 5000. Now just for reference, Windows XP's NT version was 5.1 and the RTM release was build 2600. So this is build 5000 and it's again NT version 6.0. So you can see, like I said, I mean, right off the bat, very, very Windows XP-like. We got the same style setup wizard. It tells you, okay, what do you want to do? We're going to install Windows XP. And we boot into a very familiar setup process, and check that out. We actually have Upgrade selected. Wow, okay. So that's actually going to work. So we're going to choose Upgrade Recommended and click on Next. We're going to accept the terms of the license agreement. Now this right here is really your only giveaway that this is a Longhorn pre-release version of Windows, because it obviously identifies itself as Windows software codename Longhorn, and it's got the same 180-day license. So we're going to accept this agreement, and we're going to put in our product key. And it's going to ask us to, if we want to download updated setup files. Obviously it's not going to be able to do this, so we'll just click on No. And it's going to go through the process, and this is going, I mean, this whole process so far has looked exactly. So right off the bat, we get a very interesting error message. First of all, up here at the very top, you see it identifies itself as Windows XP 64-bit edition, which is not true. This is not a 64-bit edition build. This is x86. And you see it just says, the following items are not compatible with Windows. Existing software was not fully installed. To fix this problem, click Details. So we can click Details. Microsoft Windows has detected software that is not completely installed. Windows setup cannot continue until you finish installing this software. I wonder if this is the driver. So can we just click on Next? Okay, so we can't continue. So that's interesting. Yeah, see, it's probably all of the hardware. That's exactly what it is. So we want to, I guess we have to go through every single one of these add new hardware wizards here. So let's, or maybe that's the only one that's going to come up. Nope, looks like there's another one if it wants to show up here. Yep, so I think that's exactly what it is. We have to go through every single one of these found new hardware wizards, because it's saying that there's devices, or I mean, it just said there was software that's not installed on the system, and I assume this is what it's talking about. None of these drivers are configured properly. Now, as I said in the last video, normally Windows does not do this for things like the keyboard or the printer port or the processor or the battery. It's not going to do this stuff and make you like manually install the driver. The reason it's doing this here is because, as you can see, it comes up and it says that the software has not passed Windows logo testing because it's just not signed properly, from what I understand. Because these are, you know, newer. I mean, this is a pre-release version of Windows, so they don't have everything like signed properly. It's the same thing where in like one of the, I think it was the very first, I think it was 3683 in the last video, where when we went through the install process, and at the very end it said there were some errors because some files were not signed properly. That's because, I mean, they were obviously official Microsoft files, but the setup wasn't able to recognize that because they were not signed properly. So now this would actually be a great time to kind of talk a little bit more about the build we're about to install, which is again 5000. There were actually 6 different builds of Longhorn, or you know what would become Vista, that had the build 5000 name, or like the build 5000 build string. There were multiple different versions of it, and we saw this in like a couple of them. Like for example, 4042 had this, where one was a milestone 6 build and one was a milestone 7 build. Well, with build 5000 there are actually 6. There are 6 different releases. The one we're taking a look at is 5000.vblcore.040803-2000, and that is the very first build of build 5000 that is known to exist. Now there is actually another build that is older than build 5000, but is still a post-reset build, and it's actually 3790. It actually has a smaller build number than, like, we're running 4042 right now, which is a milestone 7 build, and obviously 3790 is a smaller build number than 4042. So yeah, there was actually a few builds. Well, there's one that's known to exist that you know, that was like that, and it's pretty much like a Windows XP build. Well, it is based off the Server 2003 code base, but its beta wiki describes it as a rebranded Windows Server 2003 Service Pack 1 build, and the only evidence that it's a Longhorn build is in like the license agreements. That's really the only kind of evidence that it's a Longhorn build. It doesn't identify it as Longhorn in the build string. It still says Windows XP. The NT version for it, it is NT version 5.2. 5.2 is actually the NT version for Windows XP 64-bit edition, which is quite interesting. This like USB root hub has come up like 4 times now. I've installed it and it keeps like, so we'll say continue anyway, it'll install. finish, and then nothing else immediately comes up, so it looks like we're done, and then it comes up with a USB root hub. So can we just cancel out of this maybe, or is it going to force us to? There's only a couple okay, good. Can't install, don't prompt me again. Perfect. So I think that's everything. Hopefully. That actually might be everything. Okay, so we're going to finally move on to hopefully installing build 5000 here. So let's click on install Windows XP once again. Okay, so I think that may have done it. Because, yep, now it's actually copying installation file. So it looks like we just had to install all of those drivers for all of that hardware. So hopefully we won't have to do that again. So we should now get a option in the boot menu here for Windows setup. And there we go. So it actually says Microsoft Windows XP 64-bit edition version 2003 setup. So that's very interesting. First off, this is not 64-bit edition, or else we wouldn't be able to install it on this computer because this is not a 64-bit system. You'll see that the XP branding is gone from the boot screen, the copyright date has been changed to 2004, and the little animation going across, the little bar you may have noticed is actually gray as opposed to blue. So there is a modified boot screen. And one of the things that I just think is kind of cool, it's just, kind of cool to think about, is we're actually upgrading from this all new Windows interface, right? Like what we saw in Milestone 7 is nothing like Windows XP. We're basically upgrading from that back to a standard XP interface, but it is in fact a newer release. It's just kind of cool to think about, but that's exactly what happened. This is a brand new, they just started from scratch, and yeah, I didn't even think we were going to be able to upgrade from the Milestone 7 build to this Omega 13 build, but it looks like we're doing just that. I'm not going to jinx myself because, that can definitely, we could still have some problems, but hopefully it will install without any issues. So yeah, while this is installing, a lot of you guys said on the last video, because I was kind of doing some off-topic rambling, and a lot of you guys actually said that you like that aspect of these videos. I guess it kind of gives it a more cozy feel, so I think we're going to be doing some more of that. That video was like 40 minutes long. This one's probably going to be about that. It might even be longer. Again, we are taking a look at 5 builds. So yeah, let's just kind of talk about some stuff. I actually finished the video that I recorded right before this one. I actually did 2 videos today, recorded both of them. The other one was the Power Toys for Windows XP video, which is going to go up probably, it's Tuesday when I'm making this video right now, and the Power Toys for XP video is going to go out on Wednesday. So you guys will see that on Wednesday, or when you guys have probably already seen that by now. And this video is planning to go out on Friday. So that's kind of my schedule for this week. But prior to, as I'm recording this, my latest video up on the channel right now is the Windows 98 development history, which that was really cool to make, and I'm glad that you guys really enjoyed it. I want to thank you all for the support on that one. It's ranked YouTube, if you go into your analytics, they have where it'll rank how your videos do from 1 to 10 out of your last 10 uploads, and that one actually was #1, and I think it still is #1 now. It's done very, very well in terms of views and engagement and all that good stuff. So I'm glad to see that you guys are enjoying that one. I definitely have plans to do more of those. You guys said that you wanted to see, I've got a lot of requests for Windows 10, Windows 8.1, and even some Windows NT versions. Some of you guys were saying hey, could you do Windows NT4 or Windows 2000? I definitely have plans to do some more. As of right now, I think probably the next one is going to be either Windows 8.1 or possibly ME or Windows 2000 or something like that. And I'm even thinking of actually, and let me know if you guys would want to see this, I've been thinking of redoing some of the older development videos that I did, which I've done some on XP, Windows Vista, and Windows 95. I did 3, and those are actually in a bit of an older style where I do a scripted intro, but the majority of the video is I just have notes up and I'm just kind of reading off the notes and actually taking you through the builds live essentially, and it's not scripted, it's more spread out, because especially the Longhorn one, it's like split up into two like hour-long videos, so it's like 2 hours worth of content, and I take a look at like 4 builds in each video, and yeah, I just kind of go through every single one of those builds, and again, it's not scripted, so I'm just kind of reading off some notes and like going, okay, we're gonna go to this feature and this feature, and here's what's changed, and you know, so if you guys want to see like remakes of those in this new style that I'm doing, which is like a fully scripted video, be sure to let me know, and who knows, I might do one of those next, because I would honestly like to redo those. So you see, we actually got some changes to the boot screen here. It now says Windows XP once again with the blue bar going across. The copyright date is still the same though, it says 2004. So yeah, here we are back in the Windows XP style setup process. It once again identifies itself here as Windows XP Professional. But yeah, for those of you guys who saw the 98 development history video, you probably saw that I did have a physical copy of Windows 98 along with 95 ME and XP. I got these a few years ago. I did an unboxing video on these. If you want to check that out, I'll have the link up in the cards. I actually got these a while ago, I think from eBay or from a garage sale, and they were in pretty good shape, is why I got them. The Windows 98 box is really the only problem with it is this little tear up here at the very top where the Windows logo is. Everything else is like totally fine. Which is definitely pretty cool. It's fully complete. There's a copy. This is an upgrade edition of Windows 98. So this is not. I don't think this is second edition. This is just the regular, first edition. I do have second edition, just not in a box like this. So we got 98. We'll go ahead and set that down over here. 95. This is kind of interesting. I got the box at a garage sale. It came with the Internet Explorer starter kit. It didn't come with the 95 CD, but the box was in extremely good shape. I just kind of bought it just to have. And then I actually found a copy. I can go ahead and open it up here and show you guys. I actually found a copy of Windows 95 that I just added to the box, and the IE starter kit is actually sealed, by the way, so there you go. But yeah, this is the version that came with Internet Explorer, so it's not the original. It's once again an upgrade edition. All of these are upgrade editions. And again, this is just like off-topic rambling. This has nothing to do with what we're doing here, but you guys said that you like this, so I'm just going to do some more of it, because it is kind of fun every once in a while. This one for Windows ME, this is actually kind of unique, because it's the promotional step-up release. So this was actually for users of 98 and 98 second edition. You could get this special version of Windows ME. It came in this blue box as opposed to the white box that the regular full version of ME came in. And this one, someone bought at Sam's Club for $45.97. This one was much cheaper. There were 3 different releases of ME. There was the retail version. Well, there was 3 different retail that you could go buy at a store. There was the main version, which was for if you didn't have a OS on your computer. There was the upgrade version for users of 95, and obviously 98 could use that as well. But if you had 98, this version was just for you. It was cheaper, and it came in this blue box, and it was called the promotional step-up release. I just think that it's pretty cool. This one, unfortunately, there is some writing on the back of the box. And there's also a tear right here. You can see there's a big old tear right down there, which is kind of unfortunate. And there's a few nicks in the box, but overall it's in pretty good shape. The box itself is still very sturdy. This one actually has a cardboard insert, which the 95, 98, and ME boxes that I have all have a cardboard insert on the inside, so it really helps to kind of keep the box shape. And I can open this one up here. And this one's got that same cardboard, and this, if we open this right up here, it actually comes in a jewel case this time, as opposed to the 98 and 95 versions did not come in a jewel case. They came in a little sleeve. This one comes in this nice jewel case. So, and it's also got advertisements for MSN. Discover the everyday web with 3 months free internet access from MSN. So yeah, pretty cool. Obviously that offer is expired now, but it's still pretty cool to see. And here is the Windows ME Quick Start Guide. I would like to do a video, a development history video on Windows ME, and yeah, I will probably do that at some point. And I do have the box to get some nice B-roll of, so that'll be pretty cool. So this is the copy of ME that I have, and it looks like we're at 19 minutes on the installer. And fittingly, since we're installing, well, what looks to be Windows XP, I've got a copy of Windows XP right here. This is XP Home Edition. This is, again, the upgrade release. This box is in the worst shape out of these 4 box copies of Windows that I have with me. You can see there's this giant dent on the side here, kind of unfortunate. This, I don't know actually if the XP, and I think I might have said this in the original unboxing video, I don't know if the XP boxes were supposed to have or did have the cardboard insert. This one does not, so I don't know if the cardboard insert was removed from here or if it never came with one. But one of the cardboard inserts from one of these boxes will fit in here. So you can actually, like, and I actually did that to kind of reshape the box, if you will. I actually took the cardboard insert from the ME box and actually slid it in here, and it actually kind of helped to like restore it a little bit, but it's still this big dent here. So yeah, I don't know if the XP boxes were supposed to have that, but this one doesn't. And that's obviously, if it was supposed to come with one, the owner just took it out and like threw it away. But it does have the if it's got this little folder here is kind of what the installation media is contained in. And if we open this up, it's kind of folds out like this. It's pretty nice. So there's the disc right there, and it kind of has the instruction manual and the getting started guide kind of tucked away right behind this little folder sleeve here. So yeah, it's actually kind of cool. So that's Windows ME. It's Windows XP Home Edition, and I actually have Professional Edition, just not in this nice box. I have it on this right here. This is XP Professional. This is one of those. I don't know if, yeah, this is an OEM copy, so that's why it's not in like this nice big box here. It's actually just in this little thing. This is the instruction manual, kind of how to install it, and then you got your disk and your product key, which is this one, the one you would actually stick on your computer. So this was for OEM system builders. So yeah, I do have that copy as well. So that is all, and I do have some other copies of like vintage software. I've got like the Microsoft Office stuff, Microsoft Word, Excel 4.0. I think the Word version is like 2.0. That's just in like storage at the moment. I don't have it with me right now. So yeah, that's just kind of a little look at, again, just a total off-topic thing, but hopefully you guys didn't mind it very much. I know that was probably longer than what we took a look at in the last video. The off-topic section was, I don't think it was that long, but you guys said that you would like it, and I just kind of thought it'd be cool to keep it in here. And yeah, be sure to let me know if you want to see more of that, because I can definitely do some more off-topic stuff. I think every single comment I read relating to the rambling stuff in the last video, all of them were like, yeah, do some more off-topic rambling, that was fun, we definitely want to see more of that. I don't think I read a single one that was like, no, don't do that. We're going to go ahead and go through the out-of-box experience here. It says, welcome to Microsoft Windows. It says, thank you for purchasing Microsoft Windows XP. We'll go ahead and click on next here, and we're going to type in our name. We're just going to do M. I just did that for the, actually, can we just hit skip here? Let's just do that. Perfect, thank you. So the build string down at the very bottom, you probably saw it there, and you will see it again once we actually log in. I'm going to probably lower the resolution a little bit so you guys can actually see everything a little bit better. I believe this is the same resolution that I set in one of the earlier builds. We have this message right here, data execution prevention. To help protect your computer, Windows has closed this program, generic host process for Win32 services. By Microsoft. So, okay, we'll close the message. Okay, encountered a problem, it needs to close. Okay, don't send. And you can see right here it says, because again, this is based off the Server 2003 code base, so it's identifying itself up here as Server 2003. And it says, please help us improve this beta version of Windows. If you click send, so this was because of that crash that I just got. So we'll click on don't send. It's not like it would actually send anything to them. So let's actually go into settings here and downscale. So this is actually 1400 by 1050, which is not what I had it set as in the original, like in the previous build. I think I had it set to like 1024 by 768. So we got it set to 800 by 600 here, so you guys can see this a little bit better. And you'll notice that it actually has reset us back to the Windows Classic theme. I don't think that is normally supposed to happen. I think it's supposed to have the Luna theme. On the desktop, as I said, the build string here, it is identifying itself as Windows XP Professional, build 5000. We can go into WinVer here. There's actually a bit of interestingness in WinVer. And that is that it's no longer Windows XP, it's Microsoft Windows LH, which is short for Longhorn. And again, the NT version is 6.0, build 5000, all that good stuff. Since we didn't enter in a username, it defaults to Windows user. So we'll go ahead and click OK to get out of that. Now you'll notice that on the desktop, it's actually, obviously since we did an upgrade, it has kept all of the files that we had and that we had actually made in the few previous builds. So we've got this toolbar up here. This is actually the speech program, so that's actually interesting. That launches by default. And actually, I stand corrected, the Luna theme is not in here. I thought it was, because I'm pretty sure the screenshot I saw from BetaWiki had this build running with the Luna theme. But it looks to be like it's not in here. So we can change the color scheme, and this would be another good test, is actually, let's change it to, let's go to the brick theme, and let's actually change, once again, just like we did in the pre-reset Longhorn video, let's change the size and colors of all this stuff. So let's change the font to, do you guys want to do Comic Sans again? Yeah, let's do Comic Sans. Probably some of you guys are screaming yes and some of you guys are screaming no, but we're going to go with it. There we go. Check that out. This looks so bad. Okay, so we'll click on OK. The start button is also changed over to Comic Sans. Once again, we have the wonderful build string. And yeah, you can see control panel, aside from the wonderful modifications we've done, has the same category view as in XP. I don't actually see the thing to change it over to the classic view, which is interesting. It's normally on the side here. Oh, you can see it for a split second, but it actually goes away. That's interesting. So I wonder if I can kind of click this. Yeah, so you have to kind of refresh and kind of quickly press the mouse button. So yeah, I don't know if that's normally supposed to happen. It's probably not. It's probably just because of the wonderful theme we applied. So yeah, like I said, you guys can probably see this largely resembles Windows XP. I mean, seriously, it looks like you got the same background. You've got the same programs, the same layout in the start menu. If we go into all programs here, all the icons are the same. We don't have any new programs. Really, the only major giveaways are the build string on the desktop, which is not normally there, and even if it was there, the build is not 5000. The NT version is not 6.0 as seen in WinVer. It's not Windows L8. So they've really done a few visual modifications, but we're going to see some more visual modifications in 5048. I've got 5048 right here on this DVD, and you can see that, yeah, it's on a DVD as opposed to a CD. That's because this actually does not fit on a CD. So yeah, 5048 is a pre-beta build. And even though it actually will identify it as a beta 1 build, but BetaWiki and the collection book, which are both very good resources, by the way, if you're kind of into Windows beta stuff, both say that this is a pre-beta build. So we're going to go ahead and pop this DVD into the drive right now. So preliminary release of Microsoft Windows codename Longhorn. The software is time sensitive. Will stop functioning in 180 days. This build, I believe, there was a x86 and 64-bit version. And it's actually that way for a couple of these that we're going to take a look at today. So it just kind of tells you, install Longhorn on clean partitions only. You may only perform a clean install. Oh, that's... Okay, well, that's a big problem. You cannot upgrade your computer to this release. You can sort of clean install. Well, that's annoying. So it looks like we have a, what was that? Yeah, 4074 situation where it didn't allow us to upgrade. We'll just try it anyway. Let's see if we launch into the installer here, see if it actually has a upgrade option for us. And yep, just as it says, Express Upgrade has been disabled. And this is, once again, that non-componentized thing. Non-componentized Longhorn Windows installs cannot be upgraded. CBB Longhorn build 5019 and higher is required for upgrades. To upgrade, you must be running CBB Longhorn build 5019. So this is going to be kind of, I mean, we had this that happened with one of the builds in the previous video. So this is the earliest pre-beta build that we have. This is 5048. Okay, so there's no pre-beta builds prior to this. And the build it's asking us that we need to have minimum 5019, we know exists, but the only reason we know it exists is because of this setup screen right here. So we had this exact same thing happen to whatever the milestone 3 build was, or the milestone 4 build that we took a look at in the last video, where it said you have to be running build 4000. Build 4000 we only know existed because of the setup screen. So it looks like we're going to have to do a clean install because there's no other way around this. We can upgrade to, there is a build, like the latest Omega 13 build that we know of is 5001, but we can upgrade to that and it's still going to do the same thing because it's not 5019. So we're going to have to do a clean install. I was hoping there was going to be like another workaround, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. So setup is found in existing Windows installation. If you continue, so it will actually keep the Windows documents and settings and programs folders. It'll just add the .000 kind of like suffix to it. So we'll just click on continue. So it will actually keep all of our documents, but it'll just do, so it's not again like a clean install. To do that, you'd have to format the partition. But we're not going to do that because we don't have to. So that is unfortunate. I was kind of hoping we were going to be able to upgrade and do like a full upgrade from the Omega 13 build to this pre-beta build, but I didn't even think we were going to get to upgrade from the Milestone 7 build to the Omega 13 build, but you guys saw that we did just that. So hopefully, since again after this we're going to be taking a look at the Beta 1 release, the Beta 2 release, and then the official release candidate 1 release. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to upgrade from this pre-beta right to beta 1. So yeah, that's going to be the plan. We'll again see how it all works. But we're going to let the Longhorn setup collect information and begin copying files. Alright, welcome back everybody. So it's actually been a few days since the last clip was recorded, and I wanted to kind of update you guys on what was going on. So after the last clip, the installer restarted and it attempted to boot into build 5048's installer, and you can see that, well, this is what we have going on. It has been on this boot screen, well, when it was trying to boot from the hard drive, it was been on this boot screen for about an hour, probably an hour and a half as I was working on some other projects, and so it's clearly not going to get past this screen. I tried to change the date. I tried to like update the date and time to around the time this build was compiled, and that did not solve the issue. So then I tried booting from the CD, which I'm doing right now, to kind of restart the installer, and you can see that is not working either. So what I've decided to do is move on to another build. We're going to actually try out build 5098, which is one of the last pre-beta builds. So I've got build 5098 burned to a rewritable DVD. Yes, I made another investment and got a set of rewritable DVDs now, so that's going to be super useful because I actually ran out of the blank DVDs that I've been using. So we're going to go ahead and pop this DVD into the drive, and there we go, Windows is installing. So the plan now is, since we basically had to substitute 5048 for 5098, we're going to install this. We're going to then try to upgrade to 5112, 5384.4, and then finally 5600. So I'll be back once this actually installs. Well guys, we finally got build 5098 installed, and man, let me tell you, this took a while. I thought that I was going to have to restart the installation because the installer froze for, well, it like didn't freeze, but it was stuck on the installation screen for, I don't know, probably close to an hour. But this is it. This is what build 5098 looks like, and this is once again a pre-beta build. This was one of the last pre-beta builds actually before the official beta 1 was released, which actually referred to the OS as Windows Vista. It's still called Windows codename Longhorn in here, and you can see it does identify itself as a beta 1 release, but on Beta Wiki and I believe the collection book, it does say that this is one of the last pre-beta builds. So yeah, so this is what WinVer looks like, copyright 2005, the build strings down here at the bottom. And what I'm going to do really quickly here, because we are just going to move on to the beta 1 build, we're going to try to upgrade to that, because this video I think has been going on, like I've been editing the footage and it's been going on for like over 30 minutes with all the footage I have, and we're just on the second build now. So we're going to go into control panel. So there we go. I decided not to make it Comic Sans this time, but you can see we got our gigantic window titles, window buttons, the wonderful build string down there at the bottom. It's still in the default font, which in this case is actually a Sago UI, so which is the font used in Windows 8. And let's go ahead and make some new icons on the desktop. So we'll add a text document. We'll just call this 5098, and we'll open it up and say hello, and we'll save that. And oh, check that out, there's a new icon for a notepad that would ultimately be dropped in the final release. Yeah, check that out. It's got a new icon there. Yes, there are some new icons. If you can't really notice, some of them do look like the Vista icons, like we got the recycle bin here. But the way you actually select the icons is still the way it was in XP. Obviously, Vista had that kind of like square glass pane that would kind of be around an icon as you hover over it. So that was not seen in this build. And also the design of the start menu is now like the all programs no longer pops out. It just takes up the left column when you click on it. And we're going to make one more thing. Let's go ahead and make let's make a briefcase. And let's just call this hello. So with all that set up, we're going to move on to 5112. I've got the disk in the drive right now. We'll see if it actually just comes up with auto run. And so it does. So here is the new auto run menu for this build. We're going to go ahead and run the setup program. All right, and let's see if we have an upgrade option. Oh, we don't. Okay. To upgrade, you must be running a Longhorn build 5099 or later. So yeah, this is basically the exact same situation that we had with the other build in this video. We only know that 5099 exists because of this screen, and we're again running 5098, so we are one build short from being able to upgrade to 5112. There's no way for us to upgrade to this build because yeah, we don't have access to 5099, so we're going to have to do a custom install once again. Yeah, so windows.old, so it's going to actually keep the Windows documents and settings and program files just like it said before. So we'll try this again. So yeah, with this, it should keep all of the icons and files that we had on the desktop, but it's just not going to actually keep the themes. So this is unfortunate. We're kind of, I mean, the only build we've been able to upgrade to in this video is the very first one, which was the only one I didn't think was going to work. I thought all of these were going to work just fine. So yeah, build 5000, going from 4042 to build 5000 was the only direct upgrade we were able to do. 5000 to 5048 did not work, and now we're running 5098, and 5098 to 5112 did not work. So yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, but hey, this is what happens in these videos. So we'll go ahead and get 5112 installed and see where we can go from there. Well, so much for that. You see, we got this Windows setup error message which says an error occurred while copying setup files onto your local machine, and it looks like it's going to cancel installation. So we might have to just boot up from the disk and actually run the installer outside of Windows. So we'll go ahead and do just that. We will restart the system and attempt to boot off the CD and go through the installer that way. Alright guys, well, it has been a little while, but I was finally able to get build 5112 installed. The time down there at the bottom is once again not correct. It's not 2:19 a.m. right now. It's actually 9:27. It's about 9:30 p.m. here where I am. But it's been a couple hours, and essentially what ended up happening was and I've been seeing this with the other couple builds that we've been taking a look at, but I would go through, and you guys saw when we were trying to upgrade to this build first, what happened was the installer gave an error, and it had us reboot. It basically said that it couldn't continue the installation from being booted into Windows. So what I did is I restarted the installation from booting off of the DVD, and when it asked me what partition to install on, I selected the same partition. It came up with that message that said, okay, we're going to keep your Windows folder, program files, and documents and settings, and we're going to add the .old extension to the Windows folder and all that. So I'm like, okay, great. I think by doing that, because it did the same thing on the previous build where then it just rendered the system unbootable, I think that actually screwed it up, because what happened was the system was booting up after it installed, and it was instantly blue screening and then restarting. So what I did is I booted off the DVD again. I then formatted the partition, did a clean install, and then it actually booted up just fine, and here we are booted into build 5112. So it appears that actually telling the setup wizard to save our old data and basically not formatting the hard drive and doing a full clean install actually, well, at least in this case, I mean, from what I can tell, renders the system unbootable, because that's the only change that I made in between those two install attempts, was choosing to save the data and not save the data. So here we are in build 5112, but I'm glad to say that we finally got beta 1 installed. And yes, this is not Windows Longhorn beta 1, this is Windows Vista beta 1. This actually changes the name of the operating system from Longhorn to Vista. It begins to refer to it as Windows Vista from here on out. As we saw in the last build, it was still codename Longhorn. However, in things like Winver, we still see some remnants of Longhorn, as you can see here. You can see that the theme, it kind of still has like an XP-esque theme going on, where, I mean, it's a totally new theme, but just the design of the taskbar and the start menu do look very similar to the design in XP, obviously with a new color scheme. Vista would obviously have the start orb as opposed to this style button down here. That would come with the final release of Vista. We do start to see some icons changing. The My prefix has been dropped from all of these folders here. That was something actually we started to see way back in the pre-reset builds. But yeah, we got new icons pretty much all across the board. We saw some of those in the prior build as well. But there are definitely some things that are still looking just like they did in XP, and one of those is the system properties menu. We can go in here to computer, right click and go to properties, and you'll see that it once again identifies itself as codename Longhorn in here. This is one of the other references to Longhorn that is still in this build. But once again, the design of this applet here is exactly the same as it was in XP. Obviously, Vista, as we all know, would get a whole new redesigned system properties menu. And it would actually kind of open up in a Windows Explorer-like window as opposed to this applet that we have here. And we also, one of the other changes on the desktop is we have the larger icons, which Vista would have larger icons than XP did by default. And yes, since this is a clean install, since I formatted the hard drive, we don't have any of our documents that we saved on the desktop. We certainly don't have any of our custom theme preferences, and we don't have like a windows.old folder in the C drive. You can see there's nothing here. Obviously, this was a format, fresh install. Now, some of you guys are probably looking at the length of the video going, okay, how are we going to get these other two builds done in this short amount of time? Well, the answer is, unfortunately, we're not. And I've decided to do this. The reason being is, you're going to love this. Beta 2 basically does the exact same thing. And here's a screenshot of what I'm talking about. The upgrade from Beta 1, this is again the official Beta 1 build to the official Beta 2 build, has been disabled, and it says that we need to have build 5383, and guess what? That is a build that we do not have access to. So the reason why I decided to end the video off here is because, well, this isn't really an upgrade anymore. This is just a bunch of clean installs, and the whole point of this video was to really try and start at build 5000 and upgrade our way all the way to the RC1 release of Vista, and I was even going to try to go farther than that, possibly even to RTM originally. But as you can see, we've definitely run into some issues, and the main issue being is the past couple of builds that we've wanted to upgrade to have all required builds that we don't have accessible to us. And like I said before, I could upgrade to some earlier, because this is the final Beta 1 version. There are some earlier Beta 2 builds that I could try to upgrade to, but then getting to the final Beta 2 build, well, it's not going to work because the build we need, we don't have access to. And I can probably guess that we're possibly going to see the same thing with RC1 and RC2, just making an educated guess based on what we've already seen here in Beta 1 and Beta 2. So yeah, it's not really an upgrade anymore. We're just doing a bunch of clean installs, which is not really the point of this video. Like I said, I wanted to try to upgrade our way and kind of retain user set preferences throughout these builds. So the pre-reset video where we did this was definitely way more successful. We definitely ran into a couple of hiccups, but we were able to upgrade to the majority of the builds that I had selected. The only one, like, out of this whole video, and I find this kind of funny, the only one that we were actually able to upgrade to was from the pre-reset Milestone 7 build to the Omega 13 build 5000, which is a post-reset build, and that is the only one that I didn't think was going to work. I thought all the other ones were going to work just fine, but as you can see, that is not the case. But again, that's the whole point of these videos. This is a total experiment. This is just having fun, throwing stuff on this computer, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work. And as you can see, unfortunately, the majority of these builds we were not able to upgrade to. But hey, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, this much longer project tech experiment style video. If you did, definitely be sure to give it a thumbs up. Be sure to get subscribed down below. Turn on those channel notifications if you haven't already to get notified whenever I upload a new video, which I do every single week, multiple times per week on this channel. And if you guys have any comments, questions, or video suggestions for me, or just your thoughts on this process, or if you guys want me to do this with some of the Whistler builds or some other Windows beta, be sure to let me know, because this was kind of fun, and hopefully we'll see more success with some of the other versions that we take a look at. But for now, guys, I just want to thank you all so much for watching and for your continued amazing support here on this channel, and I will see you all, as always, in the next video.